Hello, 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 and welcome, my Aries collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs. So happy to be back in the cell. Again, welcome to your soulmate read for April into May 2020. I am your reader, Mark Angelo, Lyons Mal for short, professional witch, professional intuitive, and president of Drawing the Circle Productions, drawingthecircle.com, bringing people together with spirit. I just got a new computer, so hopefully you're my first reading being done on the new tech, so hopefully I'll be able to do these a bit more efficiently and I'll be able to put up more in a shorter amount of time so I can sort of relax and take my time. Upload times have been really slow. Part of it was bandwidth issues with what we're going on planet Earth, what we're dealing with right now. Everybody's on the internet. But the other of it was definitely an old laptop. So I'm really, really happy to be doing this. You're my test case. So I downloaded, so to speak, the spread. We're doing 17 cards for your soulmate contract read. So let's get down to business. First of all, if you are new to my channel, please consider liking this video, subscribing to my channel, commenting in the comment section below, because I like the feedback. I like to know how things resonate for people, the stories that they are in. It's very different when I'm reading a one-on-one client, which I do all the time on video messengers and Skype and all that kind of stuff. I had a reading on the landline the other day. It was great fun to use the landline for something other than the internet or faxing. But that being said, please feel free to do so and hit that notification bell because I'm putting out content every day. If not recorded videos, then live stream, super chat, all that kind of stuff. We're having a lot of fun, particularly in my Facebook group, the Mark Angelo Lyons Mal for short Facebook group. So a lot of them over there come to the YouTube chats in the morning and in the evening while we all crew together through this challenging time we find ourselves in on planet Earth. Please keep in mind this is a general reading, right? So please take what resonates, leave what does not, and check your other signs, which is why I am doing Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs for all of the relationship-based reads that I do so that you can look at different relationships, not just one relationship, but looking at all different angles. This is a soulmate contract, and there's a lot of, I don't want to say misinformation, whatever you believe is what you believe. But maybe some distortions around what a soulmate is. A soulmate contract is a soul contract, a pre-incarnational agreement written into the character you play in this life. You are a soul that was chosen to play the role of the name in the body that you are in this lifetime. So there are just certain things that you're going to go through written into your contract, so to speak. So this is looking at a soulmate contract. Soulmates help each other heal, and they are not all sexual romantic. So that's one myth about that a soulmate is only sexual romantic. No, my mom and I are soulmates. We help each other heal, have since before I was born. And nor do you only have one. You can have many, many, many soulmates, different than twin flames. Go watch the twin flame reads that I've done. You'll pick up on what that is. Very different kind of contract entirely. So other than that, if you'll focus on your breath, I'll focus on my breath. We'll all stay in the present moment, and I'll get you as much clarity, guidance, and grace as I can with a 17-card spread. I think you'll dig it. Ready? Let's do this. Take a nice deep breath. Just ground and center, release. I'll do the heavy lifting. You just stay in the present moment and breathe so you can feel what resonates, what doesn't. All the decks that I read are in the bottom of the description box. Please go check them out, and there are some other cool links on the way down there you might want to check out, you might be interested in. We are going to start with the Caroline Mace archetype deck to get one card each for the Divine Feminine and the Divine Masculine. Those are how we're going to differentiate between party number 1 and party number 2. Divine Feminine, Divine Masculine has nothing to do with bodily gender, XY chromosomes, or anything like that. I consider myself to be predominantly Divine Feminine, but we all have those energies within us because we are all children of the gods, God and Goddess. We are that. Cool. So let's do this. You ready? I've got my kitty cats watching very attentively. So if Melky, you want to come sit? Come on up, bugger. No, of course not. It's my idea. Why would you want to do it if it's my idea? Let's do this. Breathe. My collective pantheons of angels, goddesses, gods, masters, and the higher selves of all involved. I need 2 cards, please. One to represent the divine feminine in this contract, and one to represent the divine masculine in this Aries collective. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign soulmate contract for April and May, April into May 2020, please. There's one for the divine feminine, please. One for the divine masculine, the dominant archetypes for our soulmate contract for Aries, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign, April, May 2020. Okay, interesting combo. Now keep in mind, where we are on planet Earth right now, you might be hunkered down with your soulmates. By the way, these readings are for the romantic sexual. I should have said that earlier. You're the first one. Please forgive me. This is the happy, healthy, wealthy, wise, intimate, sexual relationship soulmate contract. It's in the description box below. I just forgot to say it because you're the first one. So this is an interesting combo. If you are actually sequestering in place together, I'm watching my language on this, then I think you'll dig this. And if not, I still think you'll dig it because the divine feminine has the scribe archetype and the divine masculine, the hermit archetype. I like the hermit archetype. I am a hermit in a way. So every archetype is a combination of shadow and light. So the shadow is supposed to be triggery. The light is what we're all shooting for in terms of our own healing, our spiritual path. It's the alchemy going from lead to gold. So I'm going to read the shadow to sort of get it out of the way for both of these. The shadow attribute of the scribe archetype, altering facts or plagiarizing others' works. Right? A scribe is somebody who is sort of like a record keeper, right? Like if you're a witch and you have a book of shadows, you're the scribe. You're writing down, if you're facing the light, the shadows are what you leave behind. So you write down your wisdom, your experiences, your recipes, and stuff like that. But in the shadow, you're either altering the facts or plagiarizing someone else's work. Stuff you don't want people to know that you're doing is shadow behavior, all right? The light attribute, preserving knowledge and information. Right? So if you are the scribe, the one who's sort of like making sure all of the knowledge, not necessarily the wisdom, can be, but the knowledge in this relationship or in general, then you might be identifying as the divine feminine. The divine masculine hermit, however, by the way, this is the creative family of archetypes, and this is the divine family of archetypes, though can have its own creative part of it, and I will read that. In the shadow attribute, withdraws from society out of fear or negative judgments of others. Now, I think a lot of people, if they have a dormant hermit archetype within them, what we're going through right now, they might be diving into it more than they realize out of fear. Refusing to help those in need, that's a big one. That is a big one. That is the big shadow of the hermit. It's akin to hoarding, but in terms of hoarding your own energy. The light attribute seeks solitude to focus intently on inner life. That would be the divine family, but serves personal creativity. That would be the creative family of archetypes. There are 9 different families of archetypes. The hermit I could see straddling the divine and the creative, but the scribe is definitely the creativity family of archetypes. Now, perhaps you relate to both. That's okay. We are going to do 2 separate element spreads, fire, earth, air, water, spirit, using the daughters of the moon for the divine feminine, and using the mythic tarot for the divine masculine. Ladies first. Let's see what's going on, fire, earth, air, water, spirit. It should give you an indication of which one you are, a little bit more clarity, and in terms of who you are in this soulmate contract. Nice deep breath, please. Oh, that feels good. My goddesses, please, top 5 cards, element spread for the divine feminine scribe archetype in this Aries collective. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign soulmate contract for April, May 2020, please. Fire, what does she want? Earth, what does she have? Air, what does she think? Water, what does she feel? Spirit, what is the voice or the point of view of her soul in this contract? Please, my goddesses, maiden, mother, crone. Keep in mind, I have to say she and he just so I can keep it straight in my mind. I never talk about bodily gender. I don't know you. and even if I do know you, I don't know that you're watching this. So just pulling right off the top of the deck, that's why I asked for the top 5 cards for the element spread. Let's look. Element of fire. What is it that you desire? What is it that you want? The 8 of Cups, right? To sequester. Now, a lot of people see the 8 of Cups, particularly in the Rider-Waite deck, as walking away from something undone, right? Something unfinished. This is a little different in this depiction, which is why I love the Daughters of the Moon. This is a woman who has taken a boat to an island, it would seem, following the cups, some upright, some spilled over, into a cave. So to me, the 8 of Cups in this deck is not about walking away. It's often walking deeper into something, usually into the self. So if you are not with your soulmate contract partner, either you haven't met yet or you're just not together, this would make sense. And if you are together, this is still about wanting to take time to yourself for your own healing. Remember that soulmate contracts help each other heal, and sometimes the best way we can do that for another is to give them the space to do their own healing, particularly if they're angry, if they're frustrated, if they're sad, they're depressed, like rest is needed. So not to be like, are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay? And really a hermit's probably not going to do that. So you probably have the space to be doing that, but if it's something that you want, your element of fire, maybe you haven't acted on it just yet. So let's look. What's your element of earth, the fuel that feeds the fire? So what you've got is the card of deception. Now, usually this card to me is self-deception because she is blindfolded, and if you look under, if you can see it, under the bench she is sitting on, there are 2 other swords. So people will look at this and say, oh, that's the 2 of swords. Is how it looks like in the Rider-Waite deck. And I agree. But what I love is Fiona Morgan has the other 2 swords hidden behind her, unbeknownst to the woman balancing the swords on her shoulder. So this would make sense that what you have is something going on inside of you intellectually, element of air, perhaps a belief system or a thought that is sort of a virus in the operating system, so to speak, that you have that going on, and that might very well be calling you inward. So I need to go inside. I need to do some introspection. I need to emotionally withdraw. The name of the card is actually withdrawal, but into the self, not necessarily away from others. I have said to many people, I'm not running away from you, I'm running into myself. I'm not pulling away from you, I'm pulling in to myself for my own self-knowledge. Not just a period of meditation usually. The 8 of Cups does indicate a period of time. Not necessarily years, although it can be, but usually for emotional healing or balance in some way. And 8 is a balance of 4 fours, 4s being the number of rest and inertia. You could see it's sort of the double whammy that way. Cool. Let's see what's going on in the element of air, what you're thinking, the air that feeds the fire, the thought that feeds the desire. Well, you're thinking a lot about rising from the ashes or going to. This is the death card, the card of the phoenix. Now, I love the image of the phoenix as the death card because we're not looking at an end. We are looking at a transformation, and the death card is never really about physical death. Otherwise, it wouldn't be the 13th card in the deck. It would be the last one. And even the last one in the major arcana is the card of the world or the universe, where you come full circle, you hit the Fool, and then you begin again. So this is halfway through. This is about a transformation, usually from the bones out or from the inside out, which is why skeletons are so often depicted in the death card. So it could be that there's something that you can't see, or you feel like you're deceiving yourself, or you're being deceived, or something's not right, and perhaps that is something emotional, intuitive. So the element of fire wanting to go within to get into what is changing. Although transformation is different than a change. The weather changes, right? Like from cloudy to sunny to rainy, like the seasons change. but you can't unburn something. That is a transformation. That's not just a change. You with me? You can't unburn a cake. You can't unburn a cookie. You have changed the form of it, that there is no going back. So there is a transformation that is on your mind that you are thinking about. And that might be sort of like, have I changed? Am I healing? A lot of this deception, not really sure, not really clear. So that desire to go in to the self, perhaps to embrace some shadow, perhaps to feel some feelings that you don't want witnessed by anyone else, because it is certainly by clearing out and feeling our emotions that we heal them. Not the easiest thing in the world, is it? Nope. Often better done in solitary time. So since we've got this focus of water here and fire, let's see what's going on in your emotional field, the element of water. And interesting, here we have the Gemini card, our first court card, the Maiden of Blades, Gemini here, which is mutable air, and the twins. So definitely you might be thinking two ways about what you are feeling and wondering if you are deceiving yourself, or if there's just something you're not seeing, something that you've glossed over, or something you did not pay attention to within your own emotional world. Like, for example, when we feel a certain way, psychology teaches us to get to the root of it and figure out, well, what is the thought? Where does this come from? Let me trace it back. Right? And that's traditional therapy, right? You could go back to your childhood. But then metaphysically, we can look into other lives and quantum variations and endless thinking, gathering of information, which is definitely Gemini. But there could be some illusions in there as well, as though one twin wants to see it as positive and the other as negative, and usually it's both and neither, right? They can cancel each other out in terms of figuring this out mentally, and you do so far have a preponderance of the element of air. So if you are the Aries in this, though you are a fire sign, there may be some introspection, some self-healing going on here in terms of your own personal transformation. Yeah, because even in your element of air, you've got the Death card, the card of the Phoenix, usually rising from the ashes, not going to. But there's a lot on your mind here. So in terms of being a scribe, I would suggest journaling. I would suggest blogging, even if no one else ever sees it, to use your creativity to put it in a form so that you can see it. The danger doodles. If you're not watching Pluto Living, that dog is hysterical, right? To get the words out, right? To kind of see it written in your own hand, in your own words, to give it a voice so that it's not something that's so deep and buried within you. You can see it a bit clearer objectively. One more card here, the voice of your soul, the position of spirit. Beautiful. And here we have the card of the Empress, definitely a card of birth. So while you may feel like mentally or think that you are going to ashes through death, you might actually be going through a process of birth. Now, if you think about it, this is the card of the mother, right? You have the maiden, the mother, the crone, the three phases of the feminine. Well, the maiden has to die for the mother to be born, so to speak. So maybe you are going through a transition in a way from a maiden to a mother. Now, that need not be literal, but it can be like going from a waxing moon to a full moon, right? That there is something giving birth within you. There is something gestating. A new you is being born within. Or maybe you're pregnant. Yes, that can be a meaning for that. But if you're, a biological male identifying with the scribe archetype there, the chances to that may be slim to none. But it might also be a creative project gestating within you. Very interesting. We're going to do the same for the Divine Masculine Hermit here. We'll get 5 cards to see what's going on with him. Just got to make a little room here. Nice deep breath. My gods, please. Top 5 cards, element spread for this Aries collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign, soulmate contract, April to May, April into May, April and May 2020. Please, top 5 cards, element of fire. What does he want? Earth, what does he have? Air, what does he think? Water, what does he feel? Spirit, what is the message from the soul? What is the point of view or the voice of the soul for this divine masculine hermit in this Aries collective sun, moon, rising, Venus sign, April, May 2020? Let's have a look. Element of fire. Wants the sun, wants the clarity, wants the healing, wants the wholeness. This is the god Apollo. And what's interesting about Apollo, though he is like the physical ideal, right? The idea of the Olympics in particular really is they're a ceremony to the physical perfection that is Apollo, the golden child, right? The golden medal winner, but is often alone. Like if you read his mythology, his romantic life did not go well. And that's because he was so bright, a lot of people could not handle his light. So when you look at the sun from that perspective, the divine masculine here wants to shed light, wants illumination, wants enlightenment, wants clarity. And honestly, my sense is so does the divine feminine here, but in sort of a different way. It is true that the card of the sun does lighten any other harsher cards within the spread, but we're looking at two individuals here in the same contract, so we'll see what else comes up for him. But this can be really wanting his own wholeness, his own healing, his own enlightenment, his own clarity, his own happiness, or happiness as a result of this relationship or within this soulmate contract. What's his element of earth? What's the fuel that feeds that fire? The Ace of Pentacles. This says to me that these two might not have met yet or have just met, right? If not physically, then perhaps online or through some mode of communication. But here we have Poseidon offering, a god of water, but offering the Ace of Pentacles a new beginning, a solid foundation, like an island within an ocean that a kingdom could be built upon, so to speak. So kind of feeling the vibe here, it does feel like that this divine masculine hermit has a solid foundation, a strong potential here in terms of the physical. Like whether or not he's ready, he may very well be able and willing, right? So it takes ready, willing, and able, but sometimes we can't really sense how ready or able we are, but are we willing, right? So, but this really feels like able is there. I always think of the Ace of Pentacles as like a healthy acorn. Within every acorn is an oak tree, but not every acorn becomes an oak tree, but there is a potential in there. And in its lifespan, one acorn grows into an oak tree that will shed billions of acorns throughout its life cycle. That kind of potential. Sort of like the power of the mountain is in the mustard seed. Mustard seeds are wicked tiny, but one mustard seed can create a mustard tree, creates billions and billions and billions of seeds over its lifetime. It's pretty neat. What's going on in his element of air? What's he thinking? Well, our second major arcana card here, he's got the god Aries in the Chariot, right? Really balancing opposing forces, trying to move forward, motivation and inspiration. Motivation is the stick, inspiration is the carrot. This is definitely about left brain, right brain, moving things forward, taking hold of the reins. Definitely a Mars energy, but we also do see in the card of the Chariot in the Rider-Waite deck the influence of the moon. So there is definitely an emotional driving force here, but it can be, I want to, but like I'm able, but, right? So there might be a little interior conflict, at least in terms of the mind. Because remember, the mind and the heart don't always agree. The heart can say yes, the mind can say no, because the mind looks backwards and sees, oh, this could be scary, I could get hurt, particularly if we're dealing with a hermit who might be afraid of engagement. Remember, part of that shadow is withdraws from society out of fear or negative judgments, particularly about others or about relationships in general. So there might be a little push-pull going on there within the hermit, not unheard of. Not unheard of in general, with divine masculine or divine feminine. Maybe some unfinished pain there, some psychic weight being dragged behind, slowing down the chariot a little bit. So let's look what's going on emotionally. What's going on in his element of water. Five of Wands, yeah, internal conflict. Fighting the dragon, so to speak. I know that's an addiction reference. I don't think that's necessarily the case here. But this is Jason of Jason and the Argonauts fighting the dragon to get the golden fleece. Halfway through the suit, not quite at the 10, not quite having the fleece, and all the way back home, quest completed, but in that internal struggle here because it's element of water. So reflecting back to his position of fire, we've got the card of the sun. So it may very much be wanting that that internal healing, that light to shine, that understanding, that grace, that miraculous emotional healing that divine love can do for us. That we so much want to experience within our relationships. Now remember, soulmates help each other heal. Twin flames teach each other how to heal because they can't heal each other. They can't help each other heal. So only you can give yourself the love that only you can give you. But in a soulmate contract, you make that space more readily available. It's a bit softer and it can be a bit more direct, but there's usually support there. So if these two have not met yet, would understand why with what's going on planet Earth, then it certainly does make sense here that they're both sort of getting it together, perhaps clearing out some past emotional baggage, some old wounds, their own personal healing, so that they can come together in a way that is very symbiotic and satisfying. What is the voice of the soul here? The point of view of the soul for the divine masculine is Four of Cups. Now, the Four of Cups is definitely a card of emotional dissatisfaction, right? It's sort of like an emotional inertia, which does sort of match with what I'm getting on the mental thing here with the chariot, that push and pull. And in the emotional field here, the element of water, we have the Five of Wands. So in a way of saying, sort this out, sweetheart, the soul is saying, take your time, be in hermit mode, love yourself, the dissatisfaction from the past. Keeping in mind as well here that this is Psyche, bride of the god Eros in Greek mythology, listening to the gossip, the tales, and the stories of her sisters who have come to visit. Putting earworms in, right? Words of doubt, words of emotional discontent that she has to contemplate and sort through. Perhaps not as deeply as an internal meditation contemplation, but definitely the soul saying, take your time to reflect on this. If you're feeling out of balance, now is probably not the best time to engage in something, and maybe there is purpose towards the personal isolation that both of these might be feeling. I don't feel like the majority, because again, in the collective, some of you might already know each other, might already be living together, but I feel like in the majority, you're not. That you've really kind of taken space, and that is necessary for all sorts of physical, important global reasons. But also take this time. There is a higher purpose here for your own healing so that you can help each other heal. Cool. We've got our two spreads down. We are going to add to each, one each, a Healing with the Angels Oracle card. So what is the angel? Doreen Virtue's Healing with the Angel Oracle. What is the angel that each of them have to help them heal themselves and therefore help each other? See, when you look at the quantum field, when you look at unity consciousness, when one of us heals, all of us heal. But in a soulmate contract, whatever healing you do within yourself vibrationally helps the other heal, even if you don't know each other. And that's maybe not for every soulmate contract you have, but definitely going on in this one, right? So I'm sort of feeling she's got the Eight of Cups and he's got the Hermit, that they're really sort of pulling back into themselves, or at least the Divine Feminine wants to get some clarity here. Oh yeah, she's got the Four of Blades, he's got the Four of Cups. So there's definitely some need for some rest, some contemplation, some pulling back here anyway. So let's have a look. Let's ask the angels. Breathe. my angels, please. 2 cards, one for the Divine Feminine, one for the Divine Masculine, in this Aries collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign soulmate contract, please, for April and May 2020, please. What's the angel that's with this Divine Feminine Scribe, and what's the angel that's with this Divine Masculine Hermit in this Aries collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign, soulmate contract, happy, healthy, wealthy, wise, intimate, romantic, sexual soulmate contract for April, May 2020. She's got the Hermit, she's got Harmony, because I'm looking out for the Hermit, he's got answered prayer. So I'm going to say that whatever disharmony is going on within the Scribe may have nothing to do with the Divine Masculine at all. It's just her own unresolved stuff, and she definitely is feeling and thinking 2 different ways about it. And it's just so interesting, because though she feels like she might be going through a death, well, thinking she's going through a death, what she's really going through is a birth, not a rebirth, but a birth. A new self is being born from the point of view of the soul. So finding that harmony there. Remember, 2 notes played next to each other on a piano do not make harmony. They are discordant. There must be space between the notes, usually thirds or sixths. It's hard to say if you have a gap in your teeth, right? And he's got the answered prayer. So I'm going to go out on a little bit of a Shirley MacLaine limb here and say that this hermit does have a spiritual practice in place, at least one of prayer, at least colloquial prayer. Oh, dear God, Goddess, whoever, help me, help me, help me. That I want, if you are the Divine Masculine Hermit in this reading, to know that your prayer has been answered, but our prayers are always answered. We just don't always, I love this word, listen to the way I say it, realize it, right? It's real, but you haven't made it real for yourself yet. You haven't seen it yet. You haven't cognized it yet, let alone recognized it. I love the meanings of words. Pick the word apart. I was raised by a teacher. Well, pick what are the pieces of the word? Sound it out, feel it out, right? So with harmony and answered prayer here, the intuitive sense I get here is like everything these 2 have been through, their entire lives have been in preparation for the 2 of them to come together and help each other heal. And remember, the focus of these readings are romantic, intimate, sexual partnerships. So this feels really good, but I could see where the 2 of them are not really ready to meet yet. And if they have met, they may be taking an appropriate amount of boundaried space for their own time, their own healing, their own process, particularly if they can't get within a certain footage of each other. I dance around that subject. We're not done. We've got 3 more cards left. We're going to ask the higher selves of all involved through the Whispers of Love Oracle. What's going on? I love this deck. Sometimes it just whack comes right out and says it, not in a blunt way, in a beautiful poetic way, but one that makes you go, things that make you go, Nice deep breath. Higher selves of all involved, please. 2 cards, one for the Divine Feminine, one for the Divine Masculine. In this Aries collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign, satisfying, sexual, intimate, romantic soulmate contract for April, May 2020 for these Aries, please. One for the Divine Feminine Scribe. Just making sure it's just 1 card. And one for this Divine Masculine Hermit, please. These cards wanted to be chosen. Okay. This makes sense. The Divine Feminine Scribe. Be authentic to who you are. You are asked to be real and true pertaining to who you are and how you feel. And what better way of doing that than through scribing it, than through using your creative process, taking the time, rise from these mental ashes, get that your soul is telling you there is creativity, there's something being created within you, and I really get the feeling that it's all gonna come out well with that harmony card, but she may be thinking different ways about what she's feeling, both pro and con, maybe having some trouble balancing that, and I have to say for him, come here. These are hard to pick up, these, on this table. That he's sort of doing the same thing mentally. So I think these two are going to have a lot in common about how they deal with and process their emotions. But at least the higher self of this divine feminine is saying, be authentic to who you are. You are asked to be real and true pertaining to who you are and how you feel. That's really lovely. I mean, that's true of all of us, but particularly in this case. Interesting, 39 is the number on the card, 9, 10, 11, 12, which is a master number, kind of, sort of. It's an archetypal number, 12 hours of the day, 12 hours of the night, 12 signs of the zodiac. But it also adds up to 3, which is about communication, which plugs in to this one here for the divine masculine hermit. Be willing to express love. When we express love, we begin to receive more love, which I could see he's in a little bit of conflict about that. Look, to say that these two have past wounds, past emotional wounds and illusions, who doesn't at a certain age, right? You know, unless it's your first time out of the gate with this stuff. Pretty much we all do, not to mention we can carry the psychic patterns from our parents, from our ancestral lineages about love, romance, and relationships anyway. But I really get then the hermit's need for that enlightenment, that desire for it, and that push me, pull me deal of the chariot going on mentally while he sort of struggles and goes through the necessary internal battles emotionally about being willing to express love, most likely for fear of getting hurt. But keep in mind, he's got that really brilliant, solid Ace of Pentacles potential there for something new, right? For a new opportunity. Our last card down. If you are familiar with how I read, you know what? I forgot to get the most important part of this, which is the bookie book. I have the bookie book still in the boxy box. We're going to get you Nat Khan, pardon me, Healing Mantra Deck card, so that no matter who you are, divine masculine or divine feminine, the hermit or the scribe, you get a healing mantra that you can work to help yourself heal, understanding that holographically and due to the nature of a soul contract, as you heal yourself with this mantra, little by little by little, you are helping the other heal, right? So it doesn't matter who you are, this will be truly helpful. Breathe. My Ascended Masters, please, one card in clarity, the perfect healing mantra for this Aries collective sun, moon, rising, Venus sign, happy, healthy, wealthy, wise, intimate, romantic, sexual, soulmate contract for April, May 2020. Please, what is the perfect healing mantra for them, please, my masters? Thank you. Think spiritual master degrees. Uncovering confidence. I am the missing piece that completes the puzzle of the universe, right? So, uncovering confidence, I am the missing piece that completes the puzzle of the universe. Oh, that was good. That light shut off. It's a light sensitive thing on the camera. Now I know how to shut it off. Let me read you from the bookie book. Hold on. Unhooking the past. Uncovering confidence. I am the missing piece that completes the puzzle of the universe. When confidence is uncovered, you are living from a space of renewed purpose. You know your place in the cosmos, and you are an expression of eternal light. There is no wavering on decisions or second-guessing your instincts, which it feels like both of them are doing exactly that. Confidence allows you the peace of mind to stand tall in your truth and move forward courageously. Knowing anything that comes your way can only inspire the gift of endless expansion. This mantra is ideal for resolving insecurities. Feels like both of them might be afraid of getting hurt. Easing personal concerns, afraid of getting hurt. And finding true safety in your body and in the world in case you're afraid of getting hurt. I love this deck so very much. It just always puts that perfect period at the end of an oracular sentence. So what we're going to do, if you're new to my channel, what I do is I take a picture of this when we're done and I pop it up in the video. And so that I know when to pop it up, we do a lovely little thing called magic clap. Will you join me? Take a deep breath. Magic clap. That was a good one. We start with the Divine Feminine Scribe, the shadow attribute she's dealing with, altering facts or plagiarizing others' work, not feeling that so strongly here, but perhaps having a fear of putting things to paper, right, putting things in words. The light attribute, preserving knowledge and information, particularly if it's helping her creatively get some of her feelings out so she can look at it. Because in her element of fire, she's got the Eight of Cups withdrawal. She wants to pull back. She wants to be alone, and I understand it if that's about, you know, dealing with some emotional stuff. Because even in her element of earth, what she's got to help her do that are some deceptions. That Four of Swords, really not getting the whole picture, maybe just not understanding or feeling like she's missing something, so she needs to kind of go within to just double check that she really wants what she wants or feels what she's really feeling. If she is uncertain, of course, uncovering confidence would help with that mantra. What's on her mind, though, is the card of the Phoenix, the death card, about hopefully rising from those ashes, or even a transformation of her own thinking in all of this. And as your thinking and your belief systems transform, and who isn't going through that in one way, shape, or form right now, it can certainly leave one with a feeling of, I need to chill out, I need to pull back, I need to withdraw from the world and find harmony, which is the angel sitting there waiting for her to kind of go within, while that Gemini card sits in her field of water, which she might be feeling so much mutability, so much changeability, that from thought to thought she might be pendulum swinging from joy to fear and love and back again. But with that card of the Empress, Mawu, the great Earth Mother, there giving birth, there is definitely something gestating inside of her that will be ready to be born. And I do feel like that the mental process of rising from the ashes, she will find that there is an innocence within her still that will allow her to continue this journey, perhaps a bit braver and with more confidence once uncovered, keeping in mind that the higher self is saying to her, be authentic to who you are. You're asked to be real and true pertaining to who you are and how you feel. So going back up to that scribe card, write it out, right? And if not write it, record it, but in some way that you can reflect to it objectively, reflect upon it. Jumping over here to the Divine Masculine Hermit archetype, the shadow attribute, withdraws from society out of fear or negative judgment of others. Now, judgment, being judged by others, perhaps this scribe, or of negative judgment about people in general, or about romantic relationships, refusing to help those in need. The light attribute seeks solitude to focus intently. And that's a very Aries word there, intently, on inner life, serves personal creativity. So both of them are going through a period of what I would call healthy, higher selfishness, self-healing, self-care, self-dealing, self-balance, right? Because in his element of fire, what he wants is the god Apollo, the sun, the god of healing, the god of prophecy, the god of wholeness in this sense, the god of light, perhaps shedding some light onto his own interior struggles. Remember, he's got the Five of Wands there emotionally. But what he's got is the Ace of Pentacles, a solid foundation. This is not somebody who is going without, or at least has immense potential in the physical world of being strong, of being stable, but as an acorn is not quite an oak tree, has all of that within that can unfold in a healthy, strong way. And in his mind, he might be kind of feeling that Chariot, or at least thinking about, well, do I want to do this or not? Do I want to go left? Do I want to go right? Do I want to hit the gas? Do I want to hit that brake? A period of time. The major arcana cards for me are always symbolic places that we go through, so to speak, like periods or epochs of our lives. But with the card of the Chariot, that can happen relatively quickly. So there's a lot of thinking about which direction to go, whether to pull back or move forward. And being a hermit, that would make sense, because there is that Five of Wands, that interior struggle of will that battle of, will I do this or will I do that? I'm afraid to do this, but I want to do that. That does sort of match that Chariot card with that Five of Wands, battling the dragon in order to get the golden fleece, the prize, the trophy of his own emotional healing here. But even the soul is saying with that Four of Cups that there is some emotional dissatisfaction here, that there is some emotional stagnation going on here that needs to be resolved before he is ready to move forward. And yet, all of this is an answer to a prayer, according to the angels, really saying that this is a necessary stage of development, like a butterfly egg, right? The egg that turns into a caterpillar, then that goes into the cocoon. This feels like this is an answered prayer of the cocoon phase, absolutely necessary to emerge from hermit stage as a butterfly, when hopefully, according to the higher self, he will be willing to express love. When he expresses love, he will begin to receive more love. With the overall mantra here for uncovering confidence, I am the missing piece that completes the puzzle of the universe. It may seem a bit grandiose, but really it speaks to the grandeur of the soul, and it is a mantra that I do recommend for both of them to do, if regardless of who you are, whether you are the divine masculine, divine feminine, whether you know each other or not, that this is something as you work this for yourself through April and May. I am the missing piece that completes the puzzle of the universe. Great healing will come not just to one of you, but both of you. Ooh, that was another good clap. So there you have it, my Aries collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs. May you be blessed in this soulmate contract as it comes together, probably slowly, but it feels like surely over the next month or so. And remember, take your time. There's no need to rush the divine plan, but I do know that as the soulmates come together, helping each other heal, they're helping to heal the world. So remember, this relationship might be the missing piece that completes the puzzle of the universe in terms of its healing in a tumultuous time on planet Earth, because you can imagine that the world needs more love on it, not less right now, right? Wishing you the very best and the very blessed in your soulmate contracts for April into May 2020. Hail, farewell, and blessed, blessed be.